Welcome back to Windy Bottom Homestead. Good news and bad news. The bad news is we're getting absolutely battered by yet another storm. There lies an ex-chicken. As you can see, it is not the weather for a funeral pyre. I'll box her up and tuck her away, but for the moment I'll leave her there because last time I disposed of one of the favourite pet chickens, I got told off by a very upset boss. She was not happy. She wanted to say goodbye before I did the business, so she can stay there for the moment. And the good news is I can let some light in and turn the lights on and get some jobs done, because it's been another 48-hour delay. I've done absolutely bugger all. The only thing I did was try and take care of Petra. The first 24 hours was looking promising, where she was kind of interested in eating and drinking, but then yesterday evening she just slipped further and further away, and then this morning she'd gone peacefully. It just looks like she's asleep. That's all you can hope for, really, is that they just go comfortably. Quite sad and gutted. I wish I'd bred from her and she was really super cuddly. Yeah, shouldn't have favourite livestock because you get attached to them, but you do. So, much needed tidy up and clear off that shelf, give them a squeeze, do them up, and then start thinking about wiring up. So, here we go. Things that make me go, that's me, got me shelves clear, just been shuffling shit from one place to another. So, obviously I'll take that cross member out of the way, but that's where I had visions of AC coupled grid tied inverter going. It's hard to judge on the old camera screen, but my real estate seems to have shrunk. Originally I had visions of going for the AC coupled inverter that was the SoFar ME3000, and it was more like that size and shape, whereas we found one of those on eBay and we ordered it, and then a couple of days later we had an email, or sorry, the next day we had an email from the retailer saying that when they changed locations it must have been damaged. Would we like a replacement at no extra cost, which is the one that we've now got. Instead of it being in portrait, it's in landscape. So I'm now thinking, oh bugger, have I got enough room for the inverter and switch gear and things like that. So I'm probably going to end up, well, I know I'll end up eventually wiring this properly, going in from the top to get rid of this freaking loop. So in and out the top and the bottom to try and keep the run as straight as possible. Ditch the idea of having a meter, because that's never worked. It came with a Gumtree special, so that can get to fuck. So I'll have a little bit of space for isolator switches, but not an awful lot. So the old bum squeaking, I'm going to run off and get a tape measure and have an eyeball at the box. Oh, that's me. So I've been away and checked, and I thought it was just a bit of packing cardboard because it was that way around, but dun dun dun, they've provided me with a stencil, and give or take, that'll work lovely. So what I'll do, yeah, is I'll wire it so it's vertical, and then that should give me space for the old isolator switch and into it. Happy days. Nothing to worry about. I wasn't worried at all. Somehow I just knew that this project would involve zip ties. and lots of swearing. I've been all around the houses, various fucking orientations, laying flat, down there, on there, trying to figure out ways of getting it to sit nicely without any nasty tight turns and twists in the cables and things like that, and to try and keep things as symmetrical and the conductors as an equal length as possible. But what I think I'm leaning towards is something like that for the main negative and BMS. The breakers vertically on a divider, maybe 1.5 Volkswagens high, and then there's the main positive to the breaker. So but I've not quite mirror imaged it right, so fucking annoyingly I'm gonna have to swap these cells around, because to keep the cable runs and it's symmetrical and the right side for the terminals and all that jazz, and to come up here without crossing over cable, without coming up to the bus bars and having cables crossing over and things like that. So I'll switch these round. I'll switch these cells round, and then I'll come up and have a run off, like maybe four cables vertically, and then have them splitting off like the red arrows. Yeah, I could make that work. It's not going to look pretty, but it'll be workable and temporary, because ultimately I would like a Victron Smart Shunt or something like that. So it'll probably end up being bloody rejigged and rewired up again. So not tightened anything up yet, but I need to sort of slacken off, make some space, switcheroo, and go from there. Bugger. Right, so for those of a nervous disposition, there's some paint pots. Look away now. It'll be a little something like that, with the BMS eyes, one there, balance leads running off, they reach, so I just split either side of the terminal. Depending on what space is available, if I need to lose some slack, then I've got the option of bus bar. If I'm a bit tight for space, then I've got the option of terminals straight onto the stud. And then we'll come out the top with positive, negative, positive, negative, and sort of have them in maybe a quadrant or 4 vertical over to the bus bars and split like the red arrows and go into the wall. Deep breath. Right, work with me on this one, because if it goes wrong I have somebody to blame. Main positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So then we're positive to negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, and there's the main negative. So that's good for that one. And we are positive, negative, 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 positive, main negative, BMSI, breaker. Right, gonna true them up in line, make sure I get me spacing in the middle correctly, like so, and then I'm gonna give them a little cuddle and a little cuddle, and then I'm ready to start wiring. Executive decision made. So sort of mirror image ish. By the time eventually ultimately the goal will be maybe louvered doors to keep the dust and flying debris off, but also allow air circulation, so you won't see any of that, I won't see any of that, and it can get ignored. And when I've got the money for future upgrades of smart shunt, things like that, I'll revisit it if it doesn't work and if I'm still not happy with it. But that's the best I can do so far, I think, and it's quite minimal cable usage as well, because I'd eyeballed up that end, but you're using a lot of cabling, but you got lots of space to spread things out. I thought about on the side, but again I'd need to make up cables and buses, and you got that extra distance, so it's quite a minimal use of cabling and connectors. So here we go. That's me with this one all trued up and lined up and squared up and ready to squeeze. So brave pill, time to take the brave pill. Right then, compression. On the subject of compression, I don't really know the exact science of achieving the 300 kilograms of force that the manufacturer specifies for these bad boys, but what I do know is when I squeezed the bloated Litocala ones together to get the bus bars to fit, you can squeeze them a hell of a lot of ways with just finger tight and then a little nip until the bus bars fitted. But when way back when, before I decided to be vlogging this on YouTube and whatever, I ordered the grade A 280 LiFePO4 cells off of Fogstar. I returned them because I wasn't happy with how the terminal sat. Some were a bit wonky, some of the threads were a little bit oversized, well, all of the threads were oversized, and they tested slightly under capacity, so I wasn't happy and I sent them back and I went for the grade Bs. But what I did do is, we've got 150 kilogram bathroom scales, so I had a plate like that out of scaffold boards with 6 M10 studs, and it would easily max out the 150 kilograms using the 6 studs over roughly the same area. I would easily max out the 150 kilogram scales at 4 Newton meters of torque. So the 300 kilograms of force sounds like a scary number, but I really don't think it is, and I really think that you can quite easily destroy things by doing them up too tight. Caveat to that is torque values will change with the size of your threaded rod. So if you go for an M8 threaded rod, the torque will be higher. If you go for an M12 threaded rod, the torque will be lower. It's all down to the pitch of the thread and the diameter of the thread and the amount of squeeze that implies on a component. So I'm gonna stick with what I know is safe, err on the side of caution, to achieve the 150 kilograms at 4 newton meters, I'll be perfectly happy with that. It's more of a compromise of a little bit of a squeeze and a fixture where it doesn't move. So that's my plan. And I did have my spanner, nice and sparky spanner, and my torque wrench. I'll get cracking. I don't really know how much of this you'll be able to see unless you just get a good view of my fat ass, but we'll give it a go. If all you get is footage of my fat ass, then what I shall do is I won't bother including this. I shall just, if it works, it'll be a video of me running around the garden topless and yellowing and hollering, and if it doesn't work, it'll just be me rocking in the corner crying to myself. So what I do is I just measure again. Oh, whoa, I've forgotten the size already. 585. 590. No, fuck off. Oh, fuck off. 587. A little bit sticky poo, but not too bad. A little bit sticky poo, but not too bad. Being very, very careful, obviously. I don't want to fucking sparks. Yeah, not too, a little bit off. A little bit bottom out on that plate. Have my bum in your face. 587. Hey. Righty. Righty then. Oh, yeah, dickers. 587. 587. 586.5, but close enough. Needs to be a little bit of a tolerance for something. So. All I'm going to be doing is just winding it in until I find the same sort of tension by hand, and then go from there. Should really work it like a pizza, but Oh, I've left myself loads of... Well, I think this is going okay. Nothing's gone kabooey so far. I'm very nearly at the torque because I'm starting to feel resistance on the torque wrench. It's only just nearly fully compressed that spring washer, so it's not very tight at all. But I've just been check again all the way around and make sure that I'm parallel with that. So it's getting to the point where the old thumb is squeaking, and hopefully not long the torque wrench will go click, and that'll be that. So what I do is I just make sure that I'm timed and I count how many turns. It's only 1 finger torque. I have been doing 2 quarter turns, but now I'll reduce it down to 1 quarter turn. And go from there. So just being very careful, very light, very methodical, very patient. There really is no effort at all. That's me done another round. Whee. Teeny tiny touch, but you're catching my drift. Last teeny tiny little bit. Come on, come in. Right. Oh, this is near, so close, it's so close, it's so close. That's that one. That's that one. That's how light it is. So that's me very nearly achieved my final torque. Dee-dee-doo. Dee-dee-doo. Battery's nearly flat. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Just like you're flicking a nipple. Nothing too hard. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Happy with that. Nothing's cracked. As I said previously, it's only just fully squished the spring washer, and it is literally such a light torque. I didn't go the full fat 4, I went to 3 Newton meters. As I was going along, I was just giving them a good sort of, I could still move them, whereas now it all moves as one nice unit. So, success, mission success. Cover up, make safe. Cover up and make safe, because the old bum was squeaking with that one. And one left, but I'll leave it at that because I'm nearly out of battery. Look after yourselves and each other. To be continued. Bye bye for now.